Candace Harris from BoardGameGeek. I'm here with Simon from Nice Game Publishing. And today we're taking a look at Vampire the Masquerade Heritage. Hey Simon, how's it going today?
Hello, it's going good. Happy to see you and happy to show you the game.
Likewise, yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about Vampire the Masquerade Heritage?
Right, so it's obviously a game in the Vampire the Masquerade universe,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a legacy game, so it does have changing components. It goes for 21 games, at the end of which you'll have experienced 700 years of vampiric and human history.
Cool. Sounds like
Right.
sounds like a great game for this time of year, especially.
It gets a bit murky and darker outside. Yeah,
Yes.
that's when
Yeah.
the vampires come out, right?
Yeah. So this is a legacy game. So over the course of the game, you're going to be upgrading character or your vampires. Um,
Right. So actually, your position in the game is that of a vampiric mastermind, so to say. That's what we found interesting. So you're going to start out in medieval Europe at the beginning of the 14th century, and you're going to manipulate history and also vampiric events in order to
okay.
come out ahead at the end. And that's what we at least try to do. Scheming is a competitive legacy game, which is not
Okay.
very common, right?
Right.
Because it's very hard to balance. We
Right.
hope we manage to get that a little bit right. But we do leave a lot in the hands of the players as well. So if you think legacy and vampires, obviously it's going to be characters that somehow keep with you during those 21 games, during those 700 years. And that's what we're trying to do.
Very, very cool. And how long does each session last, like each game?
Right. So it depends a bit on the number of players and on how experienced you are. I think you can get a two-player game done in 45 minutes, but I think
Wow.
we played a live stream demo game today, which took us 3 hours with answering questions and so on and so forth. So
Okay.
you can spend a lot of time on it as well. Right. So I'm having it's a little bit small for me to see, but I'm seeing that the demo table is really nicely set up there.
Yeah, looks like lots of cool components, awesome artwork. Who did the artwork on the cards?
That is Lucas Siegmund, who also did a bunch of other very cool games recently, and we owe him a lot. He's a genius. Also, Christian, our art director, is a genius. I mean, the only fools really have been the people who developed the game. So everyone else was a genius. Babis, the author, is also a genius. So don't get me wrong.
Nice. Nice.
Right.
Ah, cool.
So maybe I can show you a little bit how it would work. I don't know, Lincoln, if you have the character sheets somewhere close by, because if we were to actually play the game, we recommend you immediately jump into the legacy campaign. And the first thing you would have to do in that case would be to take out your character sheet and your player envelope or your haven and prepare that. So it's not a role-playing game, obviously, but we still like to think thematically. So you're going to give your character a vampiric name, like, I don't know, what is a vampiric name? The Duke of whatever, or Igor is my name in the game we played today.
Count Igor.
And you also have to give them a first dot in one of these traits that you can see on there. So yeah, you can choose any, and these are important for two reasons. The first reason is you're going to be playing games, or chapters as we call them. And at the end of 3 games, you end an era. And after 21 games or 7 eras, you finish the game. And depending on how the world developed during these eras, certain traits will be worth more or less chronicle points. So basically, that is how we balance a bit the legacy, competitive legacy component. The fact that you can already gain traits in the earlier games of the campaign, but you don't really know exactly what will be worth how much until the end. Right, so if you just put any dot and any name, we would have that covered. And then the next thing we would be doing would be take out 3 character cards. Maybe we can do that actually, Lincoln. That would be very nice if we take 3 character cards from the deck and place them clearly visible, because yeah, you can take some of those. That's also fine. Because the next thing that we would be doing is we would be choosing our basically our henchmen. We collect all kinds of material in our envelope, and one of these is our first retainer. Now, thank you. Yes, exactly that that envelope. And this first step is also quite like, you don't have to think about it. It's more like thematic and fluff.
Cool.
But you can choose a character that you like. So for example, I would be choosing the Viking Queen, and then I would actually turn her around, take her out of the sleeve, turn her around and reveal her vampiric side. Right.
Oh, wow.
Yes, this is so cool. So Lucas actually did each character twice. Once as a vampire and once as a human.
That's awesome.
And now he doesn't want to draw characters anymore. So he's fed up.
How many different vampires are in the deck?
It starts out with 48. I believe in the game we have around 100. I don't know the exact number. And they're all unique, and we're very proud. And I think we were a little bit crazy when we made that plan, but it ended up working out thanks to our Kickstarter backers.
That's awesome.
Who gave us the money to pay Lucas to continue drawing. So
you're getting some love for the art and the fact that it's a competitive legacy game in the chat.
Oh yeah, I mean, thanks chat. I can't read you right now, but I'll be stopping back and read all of those nice comments before I go to sleep. Right.
Cool.
So I believe we don't have that much time. So
we have about 15-ish minutes.
Perfect.
16, 17.
That's enough for a round or two.
Sure, that's true.
Right. So after all players have done this, we've basically set the ground for our first chapter, for our first game in the campaign. And we would set that up like Lincoln did there, which is great, with our, oh, what is the name? Couldn't read it.
Azignor.
Luca Azignor.
Much better at vampiric names than I am, I gotta say. So, right, and so that is where we see the world as it is now in 1306 or something.
Okay.
We have the big main board there with the missions, which maybe we can also put on the close-up view. Because so the whole campaign is basically fed through or coming out of this campaign stack that you can see in this box next to the main board. And it consists of, yes, exactly. And it consists of these missions and also additional characters that you unlock and so on and so forth. And so this is the historical context, yes. So we can see in 1306, new techniques of sailing have been developed, and whoever gathers most of a certain kind of vampire will be able to do something with this mission after the game.
Okay.
So this is the real historical context that comes in. And below that, the 3 boards are our game boards that we will actually be using during this game. Exactly. So these are also changing throughout the campaign, and these represent the vampiric side of history. So that's a little bit of Vampire the Masquerade lore here. And there's on the top left there, it starts out with a struggle between the high and the low clans, which kind of mirrors medieval Europe, where also the peasants were, I think if you say the peasants were revolting, it's kind of a bad elitist statement, right? That's but anyway, there were peasant revolts. And so this is our representation of that. And as you can see, these are very simple game elements, game board elements. So that was a tug of war kind of thing. And the next one is also kind of a individual. So that one was a shared tug of war, and this is individual scale for players. And this is about the beast within, about vampires having to control their monster in order not to devolve into some mindless beast. That's a later battleground. That's the backside. Yes, that's that's a spoiler. The last one that you can see there, which is maybe you wouldn't want to take it off of the table, because that is the War of the Princes, and that is a little bit of area control we have going on there. So that is like the, oh, you can, okay.
Oh, nice.
It's simpler than I thought to move. I guess that's what you get for training all day. Right, and so this one is a little area control between the different courts, vampiric courts in Europe.
Cool.
Now I've been talking, I kind of lost my trail of thought, but so... Sorry?
I was just going to say, I think you were going to take us through like a sample of a turn, or how, you know, what a player's doing on their turn.
Exactly. Now we are ready for that. Because basically the basic game is very simple, right? So maybe I see you have 2 clans there, the Gangrel and the Malkavians. So the Gangrels are the kind of beastie ones to the right, and the Malkavians are the one with the broken mirror. They are kind of crazy dudes. Now, basically, it's very simple. You're going to collect a bloodline, a number of vampires below your clan leader. And each time you recruit a vampire, they are going to influence all of these battlegrounds that I just mentioned according to their traits. And so what you're going to do is draft them from this middle board and try to get choices that benefit you while avoiding 2 negative outcomes. So if I'm starting the game out as the Malkavian player, maybe I'm going to be looking at the main board, and I'm going to be taking I think that's the Devilish Scholar there on the far left of the queue that we see there.
The card market there, yeah.
Exactly. And you can see that it has a name, and it has 3 little diamonds there, right? And so these actually represent what kind of vampire that is. So the red signifies that this character is noble-born. And so if I add him, and I guess we're going to do that now, we would move the piece in the clan in the red and green battleground. We would move that piece one step to the red side, exactly. And now the second attribute there, I believe, was blue. Is it blue or yellow? I can't quite see it.
It's the blue screen is canceling it out, but it's blue.
All right. So this means this is a calm and passive kind of vampire. And so in our struggle with our beast, depending on what clan we are and what choices we made before, we would be going up or down. So the Malkavians recruited him, and I believe the Malkavian leader is also blue, Anatol. And so we would be moving up. Yes, I believe so. And so we would be moving up with our clan marker on the beast within battleground. And finally, I believe it was white on the bottom. That signifies that that vampire comes from the southern part of Europe. And so we would, on the War of the Princes, we would be able to move in one of the white envoys from the south and take control of one of these courts there.
Okay.
Basically, at this point, our turn is almost done. We could play a scheme, which are kind of clan-specific action cards, and each of the clans has their own special ability, which I believe it would be too much. So we could play a scheme, and then the turn would be over.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we can show some scheme cards if they, since I saw Lincoln aiming for them, maybe we can show them. Yeah, exactly. So that is, I could send him out to waylay someone, and that would basically exhaust them and keep them from doing things in the game. So we have this kind of, we didn't see that, I didn't mention this yet, but each character also has an archetype, and these archetypes, warrior, scholar, wealthy person, and sneaky person is what I call them. There's better words, but you get what I mean. So these determine what schemes I will be able to play with my coteries. Right. I'm sorry, I rolled over you with all of these explanations.
No, it's cool. I was just going to ask, so are players generally, for their main action of their turn, recruiting the vampires into their bloodline? Or is there like, or is there like something else that you would do? And do you just have one action and the ability to play a single scheme card, or could you play as many as you want on your turn?
Right. So you actually only recruit a character and play one scheme. There are obviously some ways to expand on that. So there's special abilities and this kind of things. Also, the characters evolve, right? So there's a reason that Lincoln is showing these stickers, because when I recruit a character later on, they will have special abilities that will also allow me to do something. But I would say the meat of the game is actually not in having so many different actions that you can be doing. It's more in trying to navigate this web of different possibilities, because you can never control completely what you are doing. You're going to take a character, and maybe one of their traits is good for you and two of them are bad for you. So you're going to have to weigh, is it like, I really need a warrior, so maybe I take this guy even though he brings my clan morality down. And this kind of decisions are what you need to do. And the second part is like, what is everyone else doing, right? Yeah. In a 4-player game, if everyone else is recruiting lowborn characters and I'm the only one who is trying to fight for the nobles, I'm going to have a tough time. And so it's really about this scheming and about this
Cool.
this kind of interaction between the players.
Gotcha. And Simon, what would trigger the end of a session of one of the games?
Right. So depending on the number of players, after a certain number of turns, we end the game and we tally the victory points. So we could be gaining power. We could have adjusted these battlegrounds to make the most points. And then the game is finished. But of course, the game is not finished,
Right.
because it's a legacy game. So at that point, we would actually take a look at those missions at the top that we kind of forgot while we were playing. And we would be starting to resolve these. So yeah, if you can bring back one of those missions, that is perfect. That is the Great Famine. Now, the winner of the game gets a certain benefit for the meta game, because we're coming back to our campaign here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they get a title. So maybe in the first game, I think it's Grand Chancellor of some Knight Order or something. And so you're going to keep collecting those titles if you win. But almost as important for the ongoing campaign is fulfilling these missions. And these are also very simple kind of set collection kind of things. So in this mission, the Great Famine, we can see that I will get this mission if I have the most lowborn vampires. Obviously, if I care about the lowborn, I have to deal with famines and have to think how I'm going to feed everyone. And so these missions will be distributed to players according to who got which. And then each player will get to make a choice there if you turn it around. That will impact them going forward. So I can't quite read what it says.
Possible to feed everybody. You distribute alms at random, +1 detachment, or no. Yeah, plus detachment, or to those who pass the test, plus cruelty. Elevate any basic character.
Right. So basically everyone is starving, and I can decide to be cruel and let them fight for it, or I can try to be fair and depending on my choice there, I'm going to cross off a different attribute on my player sheet, and again, depending on the choices at the end of the era, these will be worth more or less points. And of course, if you want to play in a more thematic way, you're not going to read those yourself. You're going to read them to each other without knowing what the consequences of your actions are.
Very, very cool.
Right. There's more, though.
Oh, and there's more.
How much time do we have? 2 minutes. Oh, man, I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen. That's why I pressed on like a maniac. So the other things you can do with these missions is you can elevate more characters. So you can actually shape your game in many ways, because maybe you're going to just turn characters into, turn warriors into more powerful characters, and that means you will have much more take that. Or maybe you'll go for the scholars, and that will mean that there's a much different kind of game.
Cool.
And also you can collect assets. So you can, for example, if you resolve a certain mission, you can gain all kinds of different things, like an arsenal of guns, or a certain religious tome, or these kinds of things, which are very simple action tokens that you keep between games. But also you can unlock new characters from history, from vampire lore, and so on and so forth. So all of that is in that little stack of cards that you can see.
That's awesome.
Somewhere there.
Hey, Simon,
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. There was a question in the chat about the differences between the retail edition and I guess there's a deluxe edition as well. Could you talk about that briefly?
Right. So there are 3 expansions that we made, which are totally not necessary, but make certain things that we
More content
to expand a little bit on that. Other than that, it's just these little diamonds that you can see that we use to track power and infamy. And a few other cosmetic things like these nice portraits that you can see there in the top left. There's a detailed information about that on our game page for sure.
Okay. And then is there a non-legacy mode for the game? And also, do you have any kind of reset packs in case somebody wanted to play it again?
Right. So you can play before, during, and after the campaign custom games. That is no problem. So you can play as much as you want. And it will obviously be different because it's very different playing a simple game with no upgraded characters compared to a game with many, many strong vampires. And there's also a reset pack, which will give you everything you need to start another campaign.
Awesome. And how can people get this Vampire the Masquerade Heritage?
So it's currently available on our shop. There's a whole bunch of retailers that also will carry it. It's currently on the ship and hopefully will be available by mid to late November, early December in retail, something like that.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Simon, for giving us a quick look at Vampire the Masquerade Heritage.
Thank you.